back to another version of Dirty Talk. And today we are going to have Matt explain his pet urine decontamination protocol. Matt?
All right, well, where do you want to get started? You want to start first with like a fresh urine? The rare instances where you actually get that?
Yes, let's do that
Or
first.
for example, for most of these cleaners, this would be a great product for you to sell to a customer after you clean.
Yes.
If you've come in, done this remediation, yet the dog is still there on property, or the cat, or the old person, or whoever it is that's causing the problem.
Right.
If you have fresh urine, still liquid, hasn't dried, nothing,
right.
A great way to go is with like our Nuzyme, which is a bacterial digester.
Right.
That way you can come there, the homeowner, if they've had it, they've seen Fido go, they can walk up, blot up what they can first with a towel,
right.
And then take this and put as much down on that spot as the dog did.
Yep.
Or the cat, or the person, or the kid, or whoever. And then cover it with plastic and leave this there. On a fresh urine, this will get it.
Right.
Because you're introducing it right there. It has a food source. It'll break it all down before it can get everywhere and go. Now, that's great, but we don't run into that much for the commercial cleaner.
Rare. Right.
The commercial cleaner gets called out for a urine issue, either odor or stain, or lots of times both.
Right.
Now, we've got to identify, if we're going after the stain, we know where the spot is.
Right.
If it is an odor, you might walk into a room and you smell it, and they might tell you, the homeowner might tell you it's over in the corner. However, it's probably a lot more places than that. Right. Now, there's a couple ways you'll find it. One, unfortunately, when you run the wand and you're cleaning and that steam hits it, it's going to wake it up and you're going to know now. Or you can come in with a black light to look to find it.
Well. Yep.
Or one of the easiest ways where it won't ever lie to you and you'll see it and you'll get an idea at how big they are is to disengage the carpet and look at the pad.
Yes. Totally
So
agree.
if you disengage the carpet, lots of times the homeowner's going to tell you the urine stain is this big. Well, you look at the back of the carpeting, it's that big. You look at the pad, it's now this big. And it's also in the subfloor now.
Right.
So if we've done that and we've gone and looked up where we're going to do, we've determined the sites that need to be remediated. Well, you need a few things with you to deal with it because we've got to get it. If all I use is my wand, I'm just getting the fuzzy part.
Right.
I'm not getting the backing. I'm not getting the pad. And if it's bad, we're going to think about, let's just rip the pad and replace the pad.
Right.
But I'm definitely not getting into the subfloor, whether it be wood, whether it be concrete, or whatever nature the subfloor is out of.
Right.
Well, if we've gone there and we've located our spot and we're going to pull out our water claw, which is our subsurface extractor, which is a phenomenal tool. This lets you actually, instead of just cleaning and rinsing what's on the fuzzy part, we're able to do a bucket dump, add a gallon of water in a small area, or a couple gallons of water, let it sit there saturated, and really extract it to flush it to get it out. Because if we don't extract it, we're just leaving it there for the problem to start over again.
Real quick, let's, in case someone has no
Doesn't
idea
know what that is,
what this is, let's cover this real quick. Go ahead.
Well, you probably know more about the actual tool than I do.
Okay. This is a water claw put out by Hydroforce. A great tool for doing subsurface rinsing and extracting, along with doing water damages. So if you ever have a spill, I would highly recommend always using this product because if you don't do a thorough rinse, you're definitely going to get a wick back. And then also on small water damages, this does a phenomenal job. Slower than obviously your ride-on type extractors, but performance-wise, it's right up there.
Now, getting back, we've identified where we want to treat with, where we have a problem. What I'm literally going to do is we're going to do what's called a bucket dump method.
Yep.
So we need that because after we do a bucket dump, we're going to literally put 3 or 4 gallons of water on that spot.
Yes.
So here you're going to run anywhere between about 4 to 6 ounces in a bucket of water. Now, people always ask, well, why are you using an acid? Well, here's why. Urine, when it goes down, is an acid.
Right.
However, as it dries, it becomes a base, which is an alkaline. So we want to come in with an acid, and we want to get in there, and we want to break all those salts down and break the bonds and get rid of the source of the odor and the source of the stain or the discolorization. So here we're going to start with final rinse. We're going to dilute it 4 to 6 ounces per gallon. We're going to put it in a bucket, and we're literally going to go to that spot, Mike, and dump the whole bucket. Now we want to give it 10 minutes dwell time, 15.
And you do recommend hot water if you can use
yes,
hot water.
if we can get it, yes.
Okay.
We want to increase surface
Yes.
activity
Yes.
everywhere we can.
Okay.
Now the big reason we need the dwell time is we need this to get everywhere the urine got.
Right.
Yet the urine has had dwell time since it was first put down until we get there.
Right.
So we're gonna really put it in the bucket and we're gonna walk to that spot and we're gonna dump it. Minimum 5-minute dwell. Really like it better at 10, or even if you can go longer at 15.
I totally agree. Yes.
So we can get everywhere it got.
Right.
Then we're coming in with our subsurface extractor and trying to pull down all those broken salts out.
Right.
Now sometimes you'll even lift the stain at that point. If you did enough and you neutralized it, we should have gotten rid of the source. Now you still might have some lingering odor in the pad or in the soft surface of the carpet or anywhere. So then if you've done that, you might want to finish it with a light application of Nuzyme just to cover the odor, some of the masking agent, and for anything that you didn't quite mix, because I'm pretty sure it's a great tool, it's subsurface, but even when we take that off the carpet, it's not dry.
That is correct.
So we can put this in to keep working on anything left behind,
Right.
and that should get rid of it.
Totally agree.
Now, if we go past that and we have our spot, we still have our stain, we have an issue. Now here's what happens is, yes, it goes down in acid on the carpet and dries to a base. If it's been there long enough, it can actually damage the dye site of the carpet.
Right.
Where you've actually remediated all the urine salts, you've gotten rid of all the bacteria, all the odor, everything. Yet you still have that yellowish discolorization of the dye site. One way we've been able to get away with something is then we use our new O2 on that spot afterwards. Now what's nice is you still want to make sure that it's not an active one where you have Nuzyme before you put new O2.
Right.
Because if you go using the big oxidizer on top of the bacterial
Yeah,
product,
kills the
it's
bacteria.
going to just eliminate the Nuzyme.
Right.
Where this comes in, if you've done it all, you've gotten rid of the odor, and yet you still have basically a stain or
Right.
color loss or damage to the dye site. Where we can get very lucky is on a topical treatment, just a spray of the new O2. Lots of times it will oxidize the damage to the point that you cannot see it. Now, it did not go away. The dye site is damaged,
Right.
but you can't see the damage.
Right.
And what's nice is you now have a way. Now, when you come back and wet clean it, you'll strip off a lot of that oxidation and that spot will show back again. But I can come back and retreat it.
Okay.
Because my only other option for that spot is a cookie cutter and to cut and replace the carpet.
Right.
This gives me a way of not having to do that.
Makes total sense. Makes total sense. Let's recap. So step one.
Step one, well, first of all, if it's fresh urine or anything we get there and it's wet, let's blot up. Let's get rid of as much of the source
Yes.
as possible.
Right. Totally
If it's
agree.
very fresh, here, Nuzyme.
Right.
You can just apply it, leave it, and go. But that doesn't happen to most of us. When we get called, the dog's been going for a while or somebody's
Correct.
been going for a while.
Yeah.
So where we start there, urine goes down, an acid dries to a base.
Right.
So it's an alkaline. We want to use an acid.
Acid cleaner.
Our final rinse. We do the bucket dump method.
Yep.
Well, first, again, we have to determine where the actual problems are. Might have black light, disengaged carpet. Don't just believe that the dog went in one spot.
Right.
Believe it's gone everywhere.
Right.
After that, you've determined your spot. We're going to do our bucket dump.
Correct.
Minimum 5 minutes. Really like to dwell at 15.
Right. The longer the better.
The longer the better.
Correct.
Extract with the subsurface tool.
Yes.
Afterwards, a slight treatment of Nuzyme.
Right. Because it's impossible to get it
To
all
get
out.
it all. It's not, when you run that subsurface tool, that carpet's not dry.
That's right.
Then, if we've gone through all that and we still have damage to a dye site,
Right.
then we start talking about a final spray of new O2 in that area.
Perfect. Perfect.
And then just tell somebody to stay off of it while it's wet.
While it's wet.
As it dries, that damage most time will oxidize where we can't see it.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt. And if any of you guys have any other questions or ideas for videos, please send them in. We're more than willing to do whatever we can to help you guys out there in the field.